Hello and thank you for joining us for this week's track guide for Daily Race T in association with Kireth Esports. This week we are around Brands Hatch in the Gr3 cars for 13 laps, and it's a really interesting race. The RCZ is definitely the best car for quali and for the race, and you are going to need to consider fuel and tyres through the course of the race. So I've found that the best pit position is probably lap 7 or lap 8, and I've got a couple of pointers. One on pit exit, so thanks very much to Rory Alexander for helping me figure out why I was getting a 3-second penalty on pit exit every time, which is definitely something that you do not want. It's going to ruin your race completely, so we'll go over how not to get one of them. And we're also going to go through just how to keep the car under control a little bit, because it does want to oversteer a lot in some of these corners. So I've got some tips here as to how to keep the car under control and make sure that you're not losing the back end. Managed to get a really good lap time here, so I hope this helps you all out. Please do drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to come over and check out JBay Racing on YouTube to see some of my other Gran Turismo 7 content. Let's get into the lap. Here we go then. So for first corner, what I'm looking out for is where there's a little bit of a lump in the road in between the 2 and the 1 board. So just as you get to the crest of that hill there, about halfway between, onto the brakes. Do use third just to turn the car in for a moment, but you definitely want to accelerate out in 4th gear. So this is one of the places where that is going to help keep the car a bit more stable than being in 3rd. Brake in just before you go under the Palmer Motorsport sign, down into 2nd gear, and again I use first just for a moment to just rotate the car, but then back into 2nd and start feeding the power in as that left red and white curb comes into your view on the left hand side. Next is a fairly tricky corner. We want to brake just before the start of the curb here, down to 2nd, but then upshift to 3rd before you touch the throttle, and that's going to be one of the places where it's going to help stabilise the car again, so definitely accelerate in 3rd. And for this next corner we're going to brake just before the 1 board on our right, full brake at first, but then trail brake down, use 2nd gear to turn the car in, and then once you're confident the car is turning in enough, upshift to 3rd and start accelerating. So you want to be on the accelerator before that white line that comes across the track there. That's going to give you a good run down this back straight here towards one of the most tricky corners to not lose the back end on. So we're looking out for about halfway between the 2 and the 1 board here. Getting on the brakes, not full brake, just about sort of 75%, and don't turn in too aggressively. So you want to turn in very gradually. The car's already going to want to rotate on its own, so do not turn in too hard there. And we're braking just before the 1 board there, where the barrier on your left sort of breaks. You see a bit of a change in the barrier there. Use 3rd to turn the car in, but then upshift to 4th for acceleration. And here we're braking just before the 1 board, again down to 3rd, turn in really early, but then upshift to 4th for your acceleration to keep the car stable. And then lastly here, about a car's length before the 1 board, getting on the brakes, down into 3rd gear, and I just lose a bit of time here because I don't quite get the car over onto the curb enough. You want to hit your left tyres onto that inside curb. That's going to give you the best exit possible there. And then finally we're braking here again just before the 1 board. I use 3rd to turn the car in, get 2 tyres over onto the grass, but then upshift to 4th, and you see I'm feeding the power in before I get over the crest of the hill. So that was good enough for a 1:23.6, which is a pretty decent lap time at this point, and hopefully that gives you some good pointers. We're now just going to quickly go through the pit exit, because this is something that I think is going to catch a lot of people out, so we're going to cut to my pit stop here. So here we are then coming into the pits, and the Peugeot uses about 11% of fuel a lap as a tip for you if you've made it this far into the video. But this white line here on the left, you see that I cross, that's what gives you a penalty. So the solid white line that runs through the middle of the track there, you cannot cross that, or you will get a 3-second penalty on pit exit. So I'll leave you here with the lap to play out at full speed. Hope you've enjoyed that, and that's gives you some good tips for the race. And please do drop a like if you haven't already. Consider subscribing, and look forward to seeing you in the week for some more races. Thanks very much.